for it and see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring up to the stage J.D. Prater from Quora. Yeah, he told me I didn't have any rules about it.
Yeah. Prater talk. All right. How do you recover from that? So, we're going to be talking about not prater talks. We now affectionately call my son prater talk, which is a better use for that word. So, click, binge, repeat, swipe. It's a lot, isn't it? How do we find growth in this digitally distracted world? I've been thinking a lot about this, and I got some ideas. But first, let's get started. We love our phones. We love them so much that we run into things, we fall into things, we run into people. We can't let them out of arm's reach. I'm up here presenting with my phone in my back pocket because I don't trust it with anyone else. In fact, we sleep with our phones. How many of you guys are sleeping with your phones every night? Not just the hotel. The hotel's an easy one, right? Because we need that alarm clock. But even every day, we're sleeping with our phones. In fact, we love touching our phones. Check this out. Average user, 2,600 times a day you touch your phone. Heavy users, you've doubled that. 5,500 touches a day. Whoa! And guess what? We can't stop looking at them, right? We always are checking them. This is what it looks like throughout a day. Guys, when do we sleep? Look at that. We don't even sleep. We're checking them when we sleep. This is probably why we're all so tired on day one, right? We love it. We look like a barcode, ready to be scanned as the next product for attention, right? We even hallucinate that they vibrate in our pockets. Anyone ever have this? The phantom? Yes. It's a real thing. We made this up in the last couple of years. Phantom vibration syndrome. In fact, we even made up a new word. Fubbing. Some of you guys might be fubbing right now. You may have been fubbed earlier, right? But really what it comes down to is, hey, it happens to everyone, right? And we all do it. Happens right back, gotta check on those DMs, right? But hey, we're distracted. Notifications are coming at us faster and faster and from everywhere. It's social media. It's from our news. It's from Slack. It's from our boss, from our friends, from our family. And we just can't stop even spending time with media. We're spending 10.5 hours a day with media. A third of that time is just on our phones. I don't know about you, but I feel kind of like I'm in Game of Thrones and the White Walkers are coming after me. I'm getting blown up. And so we become this homo distractus. This is what we've evolved to. We're constantly distracted. And yet, how are we going to market to these people? And I've been feeling it more and more, as I kind of mentioned earlier, the new edition Prater Talk here. This is Jude. He's 5 months old, and I love this little guy. Life has definitely changed. And so is my attention. And so is where I'm spending my time. In fact, I've gotten to this real, conclusion. I was doing what I'm calling the hold and scroll. It's a very technical move here. Left arm, you gotta hold him and the bottle while I check that Twitter feed, right? Don't steal it. I'm really gonna get this hold and scroll, right? But at the same time, when I've had this parental leave, I was reading a book and I came across this quote. It's from William James, a philosopher, over 100 years ago, and he says, "My experience is what I agree to attend to, and that's what's going to end up shaping my mind." That was kind of impactful for me. What I agree to attend to while I'm holding my son who is relying on me to feed him food, I'm over here on Twitter. Man, that was like a gut check for me. I think if we were to update this, Descartes would say, I think before I Instagram. Right? And what I know all this is mounting to is a gigantic attention scarcity. So 100 years ago, we may have just had family, we may have just had work, and that was okay. That was really what was pulling us in our attention. Nowadays, everybody wants your attention. Every platform wants your attention. Every media, and let's Let's be honest, every foreign country wants your attention. So what happens? Well, we just stop paying attention to ads. Our radars go off as consumers and we just stop paying attention. It's okay, marketers, what do? We just increase our ad spend. We'll get you. And we'll put ads everywhere. We'll put them on top of cars. We'll put them inside cars. We'll put them in urinals. It's insane. And you wonder why consumers don't trust us. Guys, we rank below Congress. Congress. Whew. So when we lose that trust, we start using ad blockers. The latest stat I saw was almost half of the world is using an ad blocker or has used an ad blocker. That's us. They're blocking us because we're annoying. We're invasive, right? And then we also start to realize that people, they could care less if we disappeared. 77% of brands. So this, guys, they don't care if you are gone. You guys are safe. So the price of attention goes up. This is what we're seeing. It is becoming more difficult for us to gain that attention and to hold it at a right price, one that makes sense for our business. But you know who has attention? Influencers! Hashtag sponsored, hashtag ad. Let's go get their audience because they have attention. They can grab it for us. But ultimately, our CAC is going up. This is what's happened in the last 5 years. This is the trend that we all should be aware of. It's getting expensive, and it's only going to get more expensive if you ask me. And yet our CMOs, when asked, what is the number one thing? Driving growth is the number one challenge for CMOs. That's our bosses, that's some of you in the room. And that's tough, because this is what we're fighting for. We're fighting to matter. We have increasing distractions, so you've got less attention. You've got increasing content, increasing advertisers, more competition, more ad options, more platforms. People don't even care if you disappear. They trust us less, and our CMOs are saying, I want growth. Have you guys experienced this? No, I have. And it's been tough. Because Seth says it's a contest between you and me and everyone else in this room to gain that attention. So what are we going to do? This is the fun stuff. I've got 4 ideas for us. I'm hoping that maybe we can find growth in this digitally distracted world. And now, first one, working with the brain, not against it. There was a great session just earlier talking about some of this neuroscience. Let's talk about the brain. Let's start with playing a game. I'm going to show you some slides. You're going to have 2, maybe 3 seconds. You're going to have to pick which brand you like more. Ready? The real nerds in the room. No. Whoa, it's tough, isn't it? What just happened there? Got 2 questions. Why did you pick the brand that you picked? And then why was that math question so hard? That was basic math, guys. What happened there? Well, we saw with System 1 and System 2, right? This is what Daniel Kahneman in his book, Thinking Fast and Slow, fantastic book. And he comes up with this and he says, look, 95% of our decisions that we're making every day, fast, intuitive. You guys were able to pick out brands and say, yes, I want that brand in less than 2 seconds. That 5%, ooh, that's tough. That's that math problem, right? That was a tough one. But yet, the vast majority of decisions are actually made here. That's what's interesting for me, because it's really these emotions. Anybody Inside Out fans? These guys are actually controlling things. Is that scary? We think that we're these rational human beings, but we're really not. You see,
Facebook even was talking about earlier, 3 seconds, and we think about this in the feed and we're like, 3 seconds, yeah, right, but we just proved it. Maybe they're onto something and maybe they're actually trying to tell us that, look, we're making these decisions quick and fast. It's this fight or flight response. Is this safe? Is it going to eat me? Can I eat it? Right? And this is what that system 1 is doing. And we do this through cognitive biases. Here's a great map. It's about 175 cognitive biases. Now we hear this word and we're like, I'm not biased. No, you are. Yeah. This is the way the brain works. It's faster. It's quicker. Here's some of my favorite ones, right? So I love some of these, and we make these mistakes all the time. I love recency, placing higher value on recent events that occurred further than the ones in the past. Planning. We are so bad at planning. People come up and say, JD, hey, can you handle this task? Can you get it to me by the end of the week? And I say, yeah, that'll take you like 30 minutes. What ends up happening? It takes like 3 hours, right? This is because we're not that great when it comes down to it. Confirmation bias. We see this one all the time in the search results. We see this one all the time in our news feeds. We find the thing that agrees with me. That's what I want to click on. I don't want to see things that disagree with me. Get out of here with that. My other favorite, bizarre effect. Yes, that is a bottle with 2 ends. 2 openings. However we want to frame it. That's the bizarre effect. Most of you will probably remember this slide because it's bizarre. It's not the normal. That is our cognitive biases. And too often we kind of live here, don't we? We live in this 5%. This is our stats. This is our spreadsheets. And too often, it's our ad copy. It's how we move with no emotion through our ads. I understand search, paid search is bottom of the funnel. I get it. It doesn't mean you have to be boring. Emotions. Because that system 2 is really about big decisions, big life decisions, like where to go to college. Go Pokes, right? This is Oklahoma State University where I went. Or maybe that house I want to buy in California. Oh wait, sorry, California. And so, here's a great example from Adidas. 3 stripes. That's me. I love Adidas, right? I'm an Adidas guy, not a Nike guy. I would have picked that one. And let's look at how they use confirmation bias. Our CRO friends are really good at this. So let's take a look. Urgency, anchoring. They also use scarcity. Do you really think there's only one left? I don't know, maybe, right? And you're like, I don't know. I don't want to miss out. I'm guessing they got a warehouse full of these, but man, it scares me, right? That's scarcity. So take a look at social proof. They got 4,000 reviews on these things. How did you get 4,000 people to do anything, let alone review a pair of shoes? Is amazing. It's my favorite color. I don't actually have any white kicks. Maybe I need to get some. And then, of course, we have the brand values. These are made from ocean plastic. If you're not familiar with the Ultra Boost, they actually went out to the ocean, scooped up a bunch of plastic, recycled it down, molded it into a pair of shoes. And guess what? We rationalize it. That's when the system 2 kicks in. System 2 is actually rationalizing my emotions. It's actually saying, you know what? It was a good deal. You're right. Go ahead and get those. You do need some white shoes. You do care about the environment. You recycle. And hey, get that last one, right? This is what happens. You know who's really good at this? Apple. Let's take a look. They're the masters of emotion. They're one of the most expensive brands in the world. I think they got number 2 now. The Amazon just passed them. But we, as the marketers, and here the performance marketers, we would end up saying something like, hey, who needs a storage of MP3s for 1 gig, right? But no, that's not what the customer wants. The customer wants the emotion. I want 1,000 songs in my pocket. Do you guys remember the first generation? Oh man, what a winner. That thing was awesome, right? In B2B, you're here too. It turns out that people actually make more decisions based on personal value rather than business value. And a lot of times in our B2B marketing, we focus too much on those functional benefits, not enough on the emotional benefits. And that's how people are making decisions. They're over here saying, how does this personally affect me? When I go back to the CMO and say, hey, I need budget. It's like there's this myth of rational choice. We're not rational people. When I buy dog food, I'm buying it because that's what I would buy. Does my dog like sweet potatoes? I don't know, like, do wolves eat sweet potatoes? Like, if we go back and back, I have no idea, but like, salmon and sweet potato, that sounds good. This is how we rationalize it. We have no idea if dogs like this. These marketers are marketing to humans, not to dogs. Dogs don't buy dog food. We do, right? So I'm saying let's become students. Here's some books that I've read over the past couple of months that I've loved. And maybe they're onto something with that yellow and orange. It seems like they may know. But consumer psychology, behavioral economics, let's become students. But also I know that 25% of you are never going to read a book, so here's some podcasts. Check those out as well. These are my 3 favorite ones that'll kind of help out when you're thinking through some of these things and you want to listen to maybe just 30 minutes on your commute. So let's move on to idea number 2. Early adopters are winning peak ROI. So let's break that down. Another fun hand raise. Instagram story ads. Who's running? All right, so that's my majority. How many ran them in the first 6 months? It's my early adopters. And you have it. You're my laggards. You're probably not going to run them still. Quora ads. Let's have some fun. Who's run some Quora ads? Early adopters. Who's thinking about it? All right, majority. And then I'll see you laggards in a couple years, right? This is what we're kind of talking about. Because every business will have an inflection point. This comes from Andy Grove, former CEO of Intel. And he was the first to kind of really put this together, that there would be an inflection point for a business, and you can have multiple inflection points. But there will come a point where either you're going to grow or you're going to decline. We saw this with Blockbuster, Kodak, BlackBerry. Consumer behavior changed. Consumer trends changed. And they did not keep up. They got left behind. And this is what we also see for PPC channels. This happens to us all the time. Channels come up, we do really well, and then they don't. You see, these early adopters are getting that underpriced attention. It's that peak ROI. It's the first movers and the second movers that are actually taking advantage. Most of our conference talks today have been talking about the marginal ROI. We're competing with each other. 7 million advertisers on Facebook. Search has way more than that, right? That's what we're talking about. We're over here trying to figure out the margin. Run to the first mover, be a second mover, because that's where that peak ROI is going to happen. And we can see this all the time. Crash and burn marketing tactics, right? I love this one. I tried this, it didn't work. I wait 5 months because I'm afraid to try anything else. I try it again, it doesn't work. Have you guys ever experienced that? I know agencies, oh man, it was like that all the time with clients. Not for me, it doesn't work. That was Facebook ads 3 years ago. Now we're all on Facebook ads, right? One trick pony. Oh, I love this one. Hey, so what are you doing for marketing? PPC? Cool, like what else are you doing? PPC? You're like, wait, are you doing content, SEO? Are you doing email? No, PPC? Okay, whoa, that scares me because I want to know, where are you on this arc? Are you still rising? Or are you coming down? Is that why you're reaching out to me on the agency? Is because you're on the downhill slide? And agencies, that's half this room, I would be very skeptical. Be worried. You might be able to come in and make some changes, but hey, just know, it could be time. Old Faithful. Inbound marketing, man. It just seems like inbound, just like, for those that have blogs, SEO, like you can really get a lot of traffic out of it, and it's always reliable, it's always faithful. I love that one. But ultimately, I want to be building this. I want to be building multiple inflection points. I want to be moving up and to the right. I want to have tactics ready. And not every tactic is going to work. We have to be okay with that. Ultimately, what you want is that final ROI to be moving up and to the right. Because you see, over time, that's what's going to get you that positive ROI. That's what's going to get you more budget. That's what's going to get you more trust from your clients. How do you keep clients and budget makers happy. Multiple strategies, building on each other, knowing that eventually something's going to start to slip and fail. You're going to have a response to it. It could be a new channel, maybe a new tactic, maybe it's a new ad unit. You have to be ready for these things. Because ultimately, this is what we want. We kind of talked about like paid search. We started way before. Then we moved into paid social. What's next? I don't know. Is it podcast? I'm a big podcast fan. Right? We're seeing revenue go up. But I don't know what the next frontier lies for us, but it's something we should be thinking about. And understanding what is that next frontier that I can get on, get some PPRI before everyone else is getting in there. Now, probably number 3 idea. I think the most controversial for this crowd. Brand marketing. Ooh, boo, hiss. Right? We're performance marketers. And guess what? You're very good at what you do. You guys are the best. That's why you're here. You're so good at capturing demand. But in order to drive growth and find new growth, you're going to have to move up funnel. This is tough. But some of the stats are staggering. 82%, you're clicking on a brand you're already familiar with. Read that again. Already familiar with. It's that cognitive bias clicking in. How do I get you already familiar? Right? That's what we have to figure out. We focus too much here. People are going through, and we're like, look at this. It's the Google ad content. It's where I'm ranking. But really, impact of branding is having a way more significant impact than where our ad is placed, what our ad copy is. What does your URL say? Do I trust your brand? Do I know who you are? That's who I'm going to click on. And it's best summed up by David Cancel, the CEO of Drift. We had a chatbot session here at HeroConf. That's what Drift is about. And he says you can't win on features. You have to win on brand. Let's just do an example. Pepsi versus Coke. It seems like Marriott is a Pepsi fan. But it turns out, in a blind taste test, Pepsi actually wins. Shocking, right? But as soon as you reveal that can and that logo, look what happens. Coke wins. It's because consumers and customers, they taste both the drink and the brand image. Taste the feeling, right? This is what Coke is all about. Happiness, feelings, emotions. And so, you guys are going, yeah, budget though, right? I can't get budget for that. And there's been a ton of research that have looked into this. So this comes out of the Internet Practitioners Association out of the UK, and they said back in 2013, it should be about a 60-40 split. Most of us are only like 100% on the sales activation, right? Well now, look what it is. They've actually changed it. It's now 75-25. That's staggering in how we've changed in just 6 years. But we're not too far off. This is from Nanigans. They looked at our Facebook and our Instagram. They looked at prospecting versus remarketing. This is how most of us set up our Facebook ads anyway. We're going out there and we're saying, let's prospect with the conversion optimization, and let's get those lookalike audiences. Then we'll just retarget them. It's a great tactic. You're not too far off the 70-30 split. But I'm telling you, brand marketing is changing. In a recent study, they asked, what's your number 1 metric for brand marketing? We always think it's engagement, social shares. Turns out, brand managers and CMOs are being held to new acquisition. Whoa. It's not just about low in the funnel anymore. This is what we think brand marketing is. It's kind of what it used to be. You go to these fancy pitches, you get these ideas, and you decide. It's still somewhat like that if we're honest, but it's looking more like this now. The neurosciences are coming out, and we're able to measure things. We're looking at your heart rate, your brain wave, your eye tracking. We're measuring if your hairs go up on your arm when you're watching an ad. And it turns out, it's pretty accurate. They're able to predict hit TV shows within 84% accuracy versus 17% self-reported. So literally, the same person Is this going to be a good TV show? Nah, that's not what your brain thinks. And it's actually more accurate than you. Damn. Ooh. So when I think about Nike, this was controversial. Remember this last fall? I think they knew exactly what they were doing. Because at the end of the day, revenue went up. They made about $6 billion after this ad went out. That's that new customer acquisition. That's when it goes up. Sales went up 31%, stock goes up 10% in less than a month. Whoa, I think they knew what was going on. Let's look at Amazon. You guys remember this one from a few years ago? Right after the election, they listed this priest and imam ad, and it turns out it works out pretty well. This is from Kantar, our friends back here. Different division, but they're actually showing and they're watching you smile and how you interact. But here's the crazy part. They're actually able to then cut up that ad and put together all of the smiling parts. You have a good 30-second ad, 15-second ad, 6-second ad now. And that's crazy. If you're spending that much money on ads, spend the extra 10 to 20K, get some science behind it, and that's what's going to boost some of that revenue. Because all of these bigger brands, they realize you only have so much mental availability, right? There's only so much room for brands. So when you go to the checkout aisle, you might be looking at some yogurt. You're like, what do I want? For me, Chobani, passion fruit, every time. I'm loyal, right? But there's only so much room for all the brands that we carry when we go shopping. And it turns out, you want to grow? A meaningful brand is what's going to get you there. That's brand salience. That's what we're talking about. Because it's ultimately impacting your search results as well. And it's going to take some time. Most of us don't like it. We want short, we want now. That's how we're measured. We have weekly meetings. What's my ROAS this week? And we over-optimize, and we cut out things to be more efficient, and that ends up happening. What I'm arguing is, we got to go broader, we got to go bigger if you want to grow. It's going to take longer, but you're ultimately going to have more people in the funnel, and I'm even arguing your performance marketing will increase as well. Because now people will be familiar with your brand, and they'll have an emotion, and then they're more likely to pick you. So number 4, ideas that spread when. I didn't make that up. That's Seth Godin. I wish I could take that. The dude's wicked smart. I definitely have a man crush on that guy. But we focused a lot on acquisition. Think about most of our talks today. It's on the left-hand side. We haven't really talked about the right-hand side. Retention. We all know the stat. It's 5x more expensive, right, to acquire a new customer than to keep one. But we don't act like it. We don't move budgets around like that. Because remember, people don't care if you disappear. So, I want to focus on this part. Customers, past, present, 44%. That's what I want to talk about. Let that one sink in. It's really good. We got permission. The Adobe CEO in the last earnings call, he said, customer retention is the new growth. Oh, I like that one. It's the new net new. Retention. We're talking about here. You guys are familiar with the life cycle funnel? We're talking about the back, the far right. I know, funnel. It used to look like this, but hey, we're all about the flywheel now, right? Flywheel, everyone on board for the flywheel? HubSpot said it. It's the flywheel. It looks something like this. And what I like about it more than anything else is it's customer-centric, but more than anything, it's really understanding that promoters are actually going to do all your marketing for you. We do such a great job at prospecting and getting people to that customers, and then we just hand it off and we leave it. We need to get better and understand that if we can become promoters and we can get people to then go talk about us, let's do it. Talks about Seth, my man crush, right? And he is talking about this minimal viable audience. Sounds like a lot of buzzwords, right? So let's break it down. It looks something like this. What's the smallest possible audience that you could focus on that would ultimately sustain your business? So you might think ABM, similar, but too often we go too far. We go too far, and we go too broad. We're doing 10% lookalikes. Guys, if I had 10 million customers, I wouldn't be up here, right? 10 million customers. How many of you, if you had 200 net new customers, you would be doing well, right? That's what we're focusing on. And then how do you delight them? Because everyone is not your customer. Here's a story. I was helping out my uncle. Last fall, he was doing an election in Oklahoma. He was running for Oklahoma State Auditor. So I come in as his savvy digital marketist. I'm here. And we disagree on a lot of things. All right, let me start there. But hey, I can run some Facebook ads. So I'm helping him out. I'm like, hey, Uncle Charles, who are you trying to go for? Well, I want everyone. You're like, well, but like, right? Sometimes you heard that everyone's my customer. And that's what we ultimately disagreed upon with our media strategies. He went out, ran a bunch of TV ads, he did a bunch of mailers, and he spent a lot of money. I got a $10,000 budget on Facebook, and we did pretty well. We ended up reaching a third of the registered Republican voters in Oklahoma, but he ultimately lost by less than 100 votes. It was heartbreaking, and I think a lot of it was because he went too broad. He was stuck on the old traditional media, and I was just like, let's focus on that minimal viable audience. Who are the people that are actually going to carry this election? Turns out it's like 45-plus-year-olds, right? This is a runoff election. It wasn't a general election. Who's actually going to show up? Where are they actually going to show up? Fell on deaf ears. It was kind of a bummer. But ultimately, that's what I want us to kind of think about. Where are they? Who are they? Airbnb started small. They started by focusing on 100 customers. If they could love us, those are the people that are going to turn the tide. It's not the million people that will like us. We want love. Let's focus on them and make their experience so delightful that they have to run out and tell everyone. Because when they start telling people, it snowballs. They tell someone, and now we're all in Airbnbs. We love it. It turns out for e-commerce, your loyal customers, 41% of revenue is coming from 8% of your loyal customers. That's staggering. That is a minimal audience. That 8% is carrying. This is from Adobe. And that's because we love recommendations. We love hearing from our friends and family. How many times do we get on Twitter and ask a question? Or people come to Quora, right? People are looking for answers. B2B, you're not alone. 91% of your buyers are influenced by word-of-mouth marketing. So, it's easier. It's cheaper to actually focus on those customers and that user base. You can see all the inflection points going up and up. Now you're going to have some churn at each point. But ultimately, I hope you're moving up and to the right, because a repeat customer is easier to sell to. How many pairs of Adidas shoes do I own? 4. The answer is 4. So I'm above this one. I'm on 3. I bet that goes up to like 60, 70%. That's why they email me like all the time. They're really good at keeping me loyal, keeping me engaged, keeping me hooked. And now what am I doing? I'm telling you about Adidas, right? They're doing a great job. So when I go back to Kaepernick, they're focused on their audience because they realize it's not for you. They got a ton of negative press for this. Guess what? That ad was not for you. Don't be afraid. It's not for you. You're going to get haters all the time. Like Harry Potter, the first book, has like a 10% of the people hated it. I'm like, get out of here. 10%. Like, what? People are going to hate. People are going to troll. It's going to happen. 10% of you aren't going to like this presentation. It's going to happen. I'm ready for it. So maybe Gary Vee was right. Love or hating, whoever is closest to the customer always wins. We have all this attention. The attention economy is getting more expensive, but whoever's closest is going to win. So finding growth in that digitally distracted world, we're fighting to matter. It's getting more and more difficult. More channels, less distractions, right? And here's the real truth of it. We all can't grow a 10x. I'm telling you that right now. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. You have to lose. It's capitalism. There will be losers. In this room, there will be losers. That's just how the economy works. We all can't grow. Someone has to lose. But not you guys. We're going to work with the brain, not against it. We're ultimately going to be the early adopters to get that peak ROI. We're ultimately going to win on brand and creating that emotion. And then we're going to come back and say, customer retention is the new net new. So if I could wrap up, I'll leave you with this. With all this presentation, absorb what's useful. If you didn't like parts of it, get rid of it. I don't care. But ultimately, add what is specifically your own. The great philosopher Bruce Lee. And then, follow you guys. Let's remember and be mindful. We're here, face to face. This happens once a year. Let's not let that opportunity get wasted and squandered. Let's connect. Let's network. And hopefully I'll see you guys outside at the happy hour. Thank you.